I am quite excited today because I am being a tourist in London. I get to come up to London probably once a week, and I'm usually working here, and I'm running in and out of the flat, going to meetings and then getting in my car as quickly as possible and heading back to Wales. But today I've taken a bit of a break, a bit of a pause, and I'm going to the National Portrait Gallery. So I'm walking up to the Tube and I'm heading off to see the Cecil Beaton exhibition. Now, you may recall in a previous video I went to a Cecil Beaton exhibition at the Garden Museum, and that focused more on his design work in gardens and some of the work with the royal family. Now, this exhibition is going to talk about him as a fashionista. So I'm not sure I'm looking particularly fashionable today, but I'm doing my best. Bit of a countryman in London, but come along with me. Let's get on the Tube and pop up to the National Portrait Gallery in central London. I love this tube station. I think it's 1930s design, very classic. Piccadilly line, District and Circle line. Best lines in London, you get everywhere with them. Look at that. I walk up and down these steps all the time during the week to go to clients' meetings. There's a different spring in your step when you're doing it on a jolly. And, as if by magic, a train was waiting for me. So I boarded it and headed off to central London to the National Portrait Gallery. I have to say, I was rather excited and very glad, because often when I'm on this train, it is packed to the gills with people. But here, it was almost empty. So I have arrived in central London, got off at the embankment, which is, surprise, on the embankment of the Thames, and I'm heading up now to the National Portrait Gallery, and I've got some memories to share on the way. So many years ago, when I was a lot younger, I used to go out clubbing in London, my early foray into London nightlife. And there, it's not there now, it's recently closed down. There used to be a nightclub called Heaven, and that was where I used to go. I worked in a bar in central London, which meant that we got free entry into this club, and I spent much of my youth throwing shapes in Heaven. And I have to say, although I spent many years in Heaven, I never met any angels, only devils. Certainly an angel for me is Oscar Wilde, and I came across a conversation with Oscar Wilde, the outdoor sculpture by Maggie Hambling. Now, this was unveiled in 1998, and it's a bench-like green granite sarcophagus. And before 1998, there was actually no statue of Oscar Wilde in London. Considering that he lived here and worked here, that's quite shocking. So Derek Jarman was very concerned about that, and following his death, a statue for Oscar Wilde committee was formed. Had people like Jeremy Isaac, Judi Dench and Ian McKellen on it. There were 12 submissions and 6 were chosen. I love the fact there is a quote from Lady Windermere's fan: "We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars." How true is that? And talking of stars, I'm about to see the star attraction. Here it is, Cecil Beaton at the National Portrait Gallery. I seriously was shaking with excitement at this point. I am so excited that I am coming to see this. I nearly missed it. I couldn't go last year, and they very kindly changed my ticket for me. So let's go in and have a look at Cecil Beaton. When I went in, I was immediately confronted by some of his amazing work for Vogue. He was called the King of Vogue. And then I looked at some of the beautiful portraits he'd taken of what he called the gods and goddesses of Hollywood. I love Cecil Beaton because he was a self-made man. He did start from sort of a middle-class background, but he worked incredibly hard. He pushed himself forward, always working, a real example of social mobility and a real creative. I found real inspiration in his life. This chap here on the left is Rex Whistler, who really was one of Cecil Beaton's best friend. They were both gay. Rex Whistler was a painter, a book illustrator. He was killed in the Second World War, and he was in love, unfortunately unrequited, with Noel Coward. Now, as well as being a painter, a garden designer, a costume designer, a photographer, Cecil was also a filmmaker, and here are some of the wonderful camp films that he made, set very firmly in the English countryside. This chap here is Stephen Tennant, who is another friend of Cecil's. He owned Wilsford Manor, where lots of the bright young things were photographed. It's an Arcadian landscape. Arcadia was important to Cecil. This is him at Redditch House, and again, something I identify with is his love of the countryside. This is Ashcombe, which is a house he rented for 15 years. It was absolutely where he lived his best life, and he had great parties there. His mother came to stay during the Second World War when he was doing war photography abroad, and he wrote about it in Ashcombe, a story of a 15-year lease. And I was completely overwhelmed to be able to see his visitors book and see all the fabulous people that came to stay. Now, an institution that Cecil remains synonymous with is the British royal family. He reinvented them in a romantic light after the abdication of King Edward VIII, but very cleverly also kept a relationship with the king and his wife, Wallis Simpson. To this day, I don't know how he managed to do both, because Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, absolutely loathed her. And you can't talk about Cecil Beaton without talking about My Fair Lady and Audrey Hepburn. And it was for the costume designs for My Fair Lady that he won an Oscar, and there it was in all its glory in front of me. I'm sure you can see how much I enjoyed the exhibition. It was quite busy, but I think I got to take you along with me, and now I am pretending I'm walking out of Cecil's garden. Wow, that was quite incredible. It's a much larger exhibition than the one at the Garden Museum, and I guess it focuses more on the fashionable side. Bit disappointed with the crowds. I tried my best to make sure that you got to see everything. It was quite busy, but everyone has a right to come. Someone told me it had been a sellout exhibition, which is absolutely brilliant. I did pop into the gift shop and get myself a few things hot by Luke Edward Hall. Those of you who are on here regularly know I love Luke Edward Hall designs. And I was really excited to see Rex Whistler's picture of Ashcombe. So Ashcombe House, it's got a real special place in my heart, and a lot of my work at my little castle, both in the gardens and inside, are based on Ashcombe. And interesting fact, Madonna bought it with Guy Ritchie. It was their marital home, and now Guy Ritchie lives there. So that was my day off in London. I absolutely adored it, but now I have to get back to the flat, pick up the dogs, and then head back to Wales.